Welcome everyone to another episode of the George.Daniel podcast. Before we introduce our special guest today, Matt, how we doing? How we feeling?
Chilling, man, chilling.
Awesome.
Another busy week, but
Yeah.
good.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it's been like work has been fucking brutal as fuck, but no,
right.
you know, we're here for you guys. But now, let me introduce our very special guest. This is my boy. We've done back-to-backs together. We've fucking went out and supported each other at each other's shows. And ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Gruvetron.
Hello, motherfuckers. How you doing? we are in this bitch.
Hell yeah, man. So we were talking earlier, literally about like how you and your fiance kind of like how you knew she was kind of like sort of the one in a way, but you were also kind of talking about like just being a man a little bit, like how you have to like know yourself a little bit. At least that's what I got out of it.
Right.
But I guess with that said, like, who is the man in front of me right now? What is his story? You want to walk us through from when like you were growing up to like, you know, where you are now?
Oh man, I'll give you a little brief because I know I can talk.
Thank God this is a podcast,
right? So I would start in San Jose. That's where I'm from, hometown right here.
Represent.
Feel me? I grew up on the south side. It all started just in some townhouse. I grew up in like some little cul-de-sac. It was all a bunch of hood rat kids. I'm when they said doing hood rat shit with my friends.
Yeah.
I was living that.
Yeah.
Like that was the life. Yeah, like we played fucking sports together, fucking smoked weed, and like the first time I ever smoked weed was in that area. Like I would say it was a lot of different people growing up, like different cultures, different backgrounds. And that was kind of interesting to kind of see growing up because it was like, okay, it's not just this colored people. It's not just this colored people. And like, so it became like me getting introduced to a bunch of different things.
Right.
Like my first best friend was George, and like fucking, you feel me? Right. Run it back. He brought me into his house and fucking showed me like what it was like to be a little Mexican kid.
Right.
And I was like,
are you sure it wasn't me?
I'm like,
Right? That's what I was thinking.
run it back? I'm like, let's do the DNA test real quick.
Yeah.
And it was over on Blossom Hill, and like he was showing me like sopas. It's like I'm like having no idea. Me being some black kid, and I'm like not knowing what the fuck that is. I'm like, but I'm down.
Right.
I'm like, give me food.
Yo.
You feel me? Down.
Yeah.
Like
I've never said no to a free plate.
Never.
You know, but I'll try it, and if I don't like it, I'll like eat a little bit more just out of just respect, and then
right.
politely.
And
oh, dude, I'm full.
And not realizing like that was like an eye opener.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I'm like if I go out and I'm like Mexican food's my shit. Like it just opened up a whole new door for me.
Right.
But back to me. Yeah, like that kind of just helped me get to another place, and I eventually like found out like I love doing hood rat shit with my friends. And so that
For sure.
so like fast forward to high school, like I started doing graffiti and really like enjoying art.
Right.
Really just finding new things that like wow.
Just literally outwardly expressing yourself.
And like so the first time I ever went out was like fucking I think I was like 15 or something like that. And we're going out and we're spray painting right near the light rail over by Oak Ridge.
Oh, okay, bet.
And fucking, there's that like 6-lane fucking freeway right there.
Right.
And
So you ran across that shit?
bro, fucking. Luckily, it was It was like,
dude, fuck.
probably 12,
that.
probably 12 in the morning.
How many of you guys were there?
It was 3 of us, me and my
Bet.
boy, two of my boy, and
Okay.
like,
At least I feel like if
edit
there
that
was like
out, edit that out. no names.
Yeah.
no,
But
just
I feel like
kidding.
I feel like more than 3 would be sketch.
Like,
you know
oh
what I
no,
mean?
trust me, it was already sketch.
Yeah.
just like that. And like I had never been out spray painting, and my boy, he was like, just come with me, like, because he fucking played me a couple weeks before, and like I was just getting into it, not freaking green under the gills, and freaking he's like, oh yeah, let me borrow your marker, and never gave that shit back. I'm like, you son of a bitch.
You gotta pay your dues though, right?
And then, but hey, like that's like in the DJ world. I'm like, you give somebody a USB, you might not see that again.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it magically appears, man.
And you're like, hey, isn't that? It is. But he ended up repaying me. He was like, oh well, I'm just gonna pay you back in paint. So I was like, well, I've never painted before.
Yeah.
Took me out, changed my life. Brought me into like going to art shows and meeting a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
And
Where'd you go to the art
loved it.
shows at?
Out here.
And
I went to art shows in Oakland and San Francisco and shit too.
Right.
Most of the ones I went to at first were out here.
Yeah.
And it was like at some. It was over. Fuck. It was downtown over by Virginia.
Bet.
And it was called Gift to Gab. Bro, fucking all the legends were there. It's like going to a defected party.
Yeah.
Like seeing all these fucking great fucking dope people, and you're like, oh
Yeah.
man, that's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of fascinated me with just art in general, and continued to grow. Just my love for then music at the time was hip hop and R&B and. Sorry.
If you run out, there's also some lovely Liquid Death there.
Oh. I was like, I remember you talking about that live.
Yeah.
Let me see that.
Run it. There's one right there. There's these guys.
If we didn't already, shout out the sponsor.
Yeah.
Liquid Death.
Shout out Liquid Death. Thank you guys. But okay, so you went to art shows, and then that was during high school.
Yes,
All
that
right.
was during high school, and that was kind of just like my introduction into the art and music world.
Right.
At first, I always loved music. I loved just the idea of everybody having their own style, everybody having just their own kind of vision towards things. And that was kind of the same thing with art, like everybody has the sponsor. And everybody having their kind of own vision towards things, and it just allowed me to see the world in a whole different way, and everybody has their own unique style and unique way of thinking.
Yeah.
And it was fun, like it just opened so many doors for me to grow as a person, and like my favorite part was meeting new people.
Yeah.
Just like meeting freaking my now good friend Marvin. He was 5 years older than me. Never met him before. Besides that, the first time meeting him was at an art show, and he was like, "Oh, I've seen you before," and I'm like, "Really? That's so cool." And we end up living like 5 minutes away from each other.
Yeah.
And now that's my best man. Like
That's crazy.
Like he showed me so many things, like from how to properly hold a fucking spray can. But like going out to San Francisco, that's why I know my way is out around that bitch. Like Halcyon is like right next to one of my favorite places that I used to hit up. That's right by the freeway. I was like, it all connects full circle.
Right. No, it really does. Like, yeah, it's crazy how even just you going to these art shows, you met, the guy who is now your best man.
Right.
And then you going to San Francisco tagging, and then, potentially playing at Halcyon. Like I think that's
Yo, that is good.
yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's fucking, like how so many things like this podcast, like Matt and I worked with each other, but that was like 4 years ago. And then all of a sudden now we just reconnected the same way, and just now we're doing a different project.
Right.
And just like those things, how it's just like the things that you did in your past will
Come around.
Right. In a dope way. But you touch base on the music and everything. And then I grew up over here. I'm up in Mountain View, so I wasn't so close to like so much culture outside of just like my neighborhood.
Right.
And yeah, like over here, I just feel like you had downtown doing jazz festivals. You had, like all this other stuff. But like at the same time, like there's 3 streets you go to, and each one is either like a Mexican, bar. There's like the hipster one and blah blah blah.
Bro,
One,
like
paper
SJBG, freaking
yeah, and each one has its own thing, But like, yeah, you only get that in a metropolitan area, right? Is that what they call
right.
this?
I'm like, dude, like when I was growing up, I'm like, I remember like San Jose being like probably like 600,000 people,
Right.
and I'm thinking like, oh my god, that's a lot. And then probably like 10 years go by, and I'm like, bitch, we're a million. There's a million people here. I'm
Yeah.
like, god damn,
Dude, yeah, it's insane. They just keep building shit. Like if people are like, I don't know. They're just building shit and no one's moving in.
dude.
And I'm like,
No,
what
it's
the fuck
crazy
is
because
going
I'm
on?
like, I remember driving by some shit, and I'm like, I don't even remember that being there like
Yeah.
4 weeks ago.
Right.
I drive this way all the time.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I do now have to come from Modesto, so I could just be missing shit.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, it's also journeys, it's a ways out, especially coming from all the way from Modesto. It's probably like an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's an hour and a half anywhere. That's like bottom line.
Yeah. Let's get some Milpitas and be like, all right, where are we going? Like,
I'm
here,
like,
whatever.
dude, yeah. I try not to calculate it from, like my drive to the freeway.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, well, it's only an hour and 16 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like going to San Francisco, 2 hours. 2.5 hours on a Friday.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's a pain in the ass, but if I come see you, I come see you.
Yeah, that's real. That's real love right there. Damn, dude, that's fucking insane. Yeah, coming from Modesto. So in Modesto, like, how do you find inspiration? Like coming up with mixes, or do you or doing anything like that? Like, finding because it's Modesto.
Honestly, at first, it's so quiet for me. Like coming from here and moving to there, like it's so different. It's totally two different sides.
Yeah, I feel like seconds are half as slow.
Oh, it's slow as fuck over there, and like their mall is like, whew. I'm like, I went there just to.
I have family out there. I used to spend like weeks out there during
okay,
summer.
so
I
and for the people
yeah.
who don't know, it's dry. It's like people in the valley, I love you. Like it has been dry.
Yeah.
Like, but the people who know how to rave, they come out. Like, shout out Open House because they have been throwing hella parties out there.
Yeah.
And like literally, people come out like because there's Dirty Bird out there, of course, but those people don't really get too many events year round.
Right.
So they're like, whatever's happening, they're gone.
Right.
Like they're ready to rage.
Yeah.
Like, but like coming up with the inspiration, it's like I never listened to house prior 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. So like it's all new to me. So
that's how I felt like coming into it, was just like, this is brand new and it has decades worth of music. So dude, it was just like,
and that's the most satisfying thing, like for me, because I love music and I hate having to continuously like get stale on the same music, and I want to keep searching. I want that journey to continue.
Right.
And so like when I found House, I was like, oh my God. Like there's so many things under this umbrella. Like it became like, okay, what is actually out there? And that kind of just started the whole thing, you know.
Yeah.
Like my fiance, shout out to my fiance Phoebe. She would always, she would never show me her music.
Yeah.
And so I'd be like, bruh, like show me, just show me, please.
Yeah.
I'm like, and this was like right around the time where I'm like, my New Year's vow to myself was like, listen to more music that you've never heard before.
Right.
And I was like, okay. So I'm playing like 2 foot, like fucking just like weird indie shit. And I'm like, I'm enjoying it. I'm just tired. I was tired of hip hop.
Right.
And I was like, show me.
Yeah.
And so she's like, I can't show you. I'm just going to have to take you. And I was like, what the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you have to take me?
Like,
and then, I'm like, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is this weird
music
shit?
cult, like,
And then, like, even to this day, like, literally 2 days ago, she's like, you used to make fun of me for listening to house music. She's like, you literally would be like, this has no words. And,
yeah.
And now I'm like 8 minutes deep into a song that has no words, and I'm just vibing.
Right.
But, you know, she was like, okay, well, I'll just have to take you. And she took me to Audiotistic in Mountain View.
Yeah.
So I was like,
What year was this?
this was 2019.
Bet.
2019. So that's like my first introduction to house.
Yeah.
And so me going to hip hop shows prior.
Was that Chris Lake? Oh my God. Yeah. Chris Lake, Chris Lorenzo, Claude, Close.
Like Camel Fat.
Yeah.
Literally, that was the day
Yeah.
that sent me. I'm like,
Yeah, dude, that was the festival that I got in, and I got in for free because I worked with Midnight. And yeah, like that shit was so fucking sick. Me and Christian just ended up backstage somehow because we got lost and like thought that, you know. Oh no, because like our bracelets let us go through like wherever, and I was like, oh, we're like literally backstage, and he's like, oh fuck, like we need to leave, and I'm like, nah, they let us in.
no, hey, they let us in. This
Yeah.
bitch.
I mean, we
Until
couldn't
the
get on
security.
stage. That was a different bracelet. But we were there.
I'm
We were
back.
there.
I'm back in.
Yeah.
I'm back there.
Yeah. But okay. So speaking of like festivals, that was your first festival, EDM festival. Did you go to any other like concerts or anything prior to that?
No.
Really?
No.
That was your first.
That was just my first
live
event live
for live music.
And she's
Damn.
like, and because originally I was supposed to go to Coachella,
Right.
but my son's birthday was that weekend, and I was like, I'm not going.
Yeah.
So she was like, the tickets are cheap. I think they were like $140. I was like, bet.
Yeah. For like 2 days.
For 2 days, I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not bad. I'm like, usually, I love hip hop, but hip hop concerts like fucking $400 for like a 4-hour concert.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, I'm paying all this money, and the artist comes on for like an hour.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, at a festival, it's about an hour, but you know how many artists I see in a fucking day?
Yeah. But no, yeah, Audiotistic was fucking sick. And then so prior to that, I've obviously seen you running around in SF and you know, SAC and you know.
No,
whatever.
after that.
Yeah. Now, like speaking on now, but like, yeah. So like, how would you say that? Like, do you now go to different genres of music? Do you primarily stick to like going to like the club and like, or going to like the Midway or going?
The deepest I've gone, I would probably say, is to a trance show.
Okay.
Or I'm not really sure what a Luna Deep is. Is that trance?
I don't know. Don't ask me. I
like-
literally don't know any of you DJs. I'm sorry.
But I went to a Jody Wisternoff, and he was actually sick.
I don't even know who the fuck that is.
It's okay.
But he
It's
sounds
okay.
like a DJ.
Honestly, he's. I don't know what race he is, but I know for sure it's over there.
Yeah.
But he was cool on like, but the guy, I seen him the night, one night I was playing at social in Sacramento,
Mm-hmm.
and then he was playing out London, and so one of this lady that had booked me for my first ever show, Lisa, she had asked me to come over, and I was
Right.
like, okay, for sure. And she's like, Jody's playing. I was like, I have no idea who the fuck that is.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm down.
Right.
And so he's like playing like trance and house. So I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. And then my boy, Martin, he invites me to audio, and I was like, I've never seen this motherfucker. And I'm just thinking, hopefully it's a good show. I was like, it's trance. At first, all she's telling me is it's trance. I'm like, I can't fucking do it, but I'll do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want to try. I want to check it out.
Yeah.
I want to see what it's about. And then, like, because I can't, at first, I'm like trying new genres that are kind of softer. I'm like, I'd rather see it live than versus kind of just diving deep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I want to get a taste of what I'm diving deep into. And so yeah, we went to audio, and it was just so weird. The vibe was just so off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was like, I enjoyed you last night, but this is different.
Yeah.
Like, he was in his bag. He was in his bag for sure.
Yeah.
But it was just different for me. But I would say, like, besides that, no. I've done, like, my favorite style right now, and since I started listening to house, was minimal.
Okay.
Like, that was the first sound I got into. I was listening to, like, minimal and deep house.
Yeah.
Like, that was my shit.
Right.
I was, like, listening to, like, DeMarcus Lewis, freaking Luke. I'm like, which show was tight. Like, it was dope.
Yeah.
Dope. He was sick. Freaking Alexander and Kenny were dope too.
Yeah, Kenny got added onto that lineup like 2 days prior or something like that. So shout out to Kenny for getting that.
Hey,
And shout out to Jordan or Alexander.
you know you
Yeah, he brought out his mom, I think. For that
Dude, he
one,
brought
too.
his mom. He brought
That's
his
fucking
pops.
sick.
I was like,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah,
he
yeah.
set that vibe.
Yeah,
Bro.
he
Oh my God.
had his shirt 3 buttons down.
No, okay. Funny
like,
side
all
story.
right.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, funny
wasn't there.
No, I know. Funny
got a
side
fucking
story.
flat.
Funny side story. Freaking, me and Alex Edward, we were talking, and I was like, bro, because he had it buttoned all the way to the top, or I think maybe one button down.
Right.
And me and Alex were talking. We were like, dude, by the end of the night, he needs to have that bitch damn near off. I need to see. I was like, I need to probably see him naked by the end of the night.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
he needs to be that fucked up. I'm like, and so it was just hella funny. So when I had went outside, and Alex had told him when he came back, and I seen him one or two buttons down.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes.
No,
Like,
yeah, you can see it in the photos how he just progressively just like one kept getting undone. I was like,
I was like,
"All
bro, period. I was like, we were literally like, every hour, bro, you need to unbutton that bitch at least once.
Yeah,
So
no.
yeah, it was a
But-
vibe.
That's fucking sick. But okay, so like, with me and you, we've known each other for a while now. We've done back-to-backs together, and thank you for that. But yeah, so like, what do you have any like future, like for 2023? What are your like kind of goals, as in getting like more gigs, or is it like maybe like starting to produce, or maybe even fucking doing something with like the old art that you used to do and like the new shit that you're doing and doing some projects like that?
Yes, I have been working on a lot of music. I released a song last year on an Indonesian label. That was really cool. My buddy Irio Indra, he's from Indonesia. We had connected through Instagram. Super cool dude. He makes tech and bass house. And so he was like, I sent him the song. I was like, check it out. He was like, I'm sending it to the label. I'm like, I don't think it's ready. He's like, nah, dude, it's totally ready.
Yeah.
Hella encouraged me to freaking just go ahead and release it.
Right.
I said, fuck it. At first, I hated it. And I'm like, just, that self-doubt. And then you realize you're like, you know what? It's okay. it could be worse.
Right.
Like, and then now I catch myself listening to the song. I'm like, you know what? It's all right. It's pretty dope. Like, it's okay for my first song. And now, like, I think I'm getting to a point to where I'm getting more comfortable with making music, and so I feel like I want to release more. I have a few songs. I have probably like 5 or 6 songs that are finished that I'm just like, I'm just gonna wait. Yeah. I'm just gonna wait. I'm like, I don't know where these are going.
Yeah.
Like, I have.
Does every song need to be like signed to something?
No.
Can't you just
and
put
no?
it out
And
on
that's
SoundCloud?
what I want to do. You know, like, but I want it to be when I'm ready, because I'm always so like, is it really done? And then I'm like, no, it's done. And then,
I mean, okay, like I said last podcast, I don't even have Ableton, right? So like, what do I know? But like me, like in my marketing head, it would just be like, dude, okay, what if I release one song, but I get 2 of my homies who are also producers and remix them, and then just drop it as a free EP or whatever, you know? And then that way, like people from different corners
are gonna listen to it.
Yeah.
Right. And draw attention. And that's like, there's one song that I have, it's like this Jamaican, like, like, this Jamaican backyard, like, work your back, like, kind of thing. And I'm like, fuck yeah. I'm like, and it's like my take on this Max Chapman song. And like, my homie Changa was like, dude, I need you to remix this. I'm like, I think you would make this song dope. I'm like, I know I like this version, but I know you would make a sick version.
Right.
Like, and like, cause my version is like more housey, and I'm like, I know he'll freaking throw some Latin drums on that bitch and fucking get that bitch real tropical.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'm like, but I totally feel that. Like right now, like I think I'm more like getting into that perfectionist kind of thing, and I'm like trying to just tell myself, just release it. Just release it. Just hurry up and release it before you start hating it.
Yeah.
And besides that, I just started this mix series that I've been working on.
Right.
That is super fun. That has been super fun. It's called House of Groove. And the first person I have on it is Groovy Goddess. And she fucking threw it the fuck down for the first edition.
And you can find that on SoundCloud?
Yeah, you can find that shit on SoundCloud.
Right.
It should be bumping. And then, like, I have mixes all the way up to April. Yeah, all the way already ready.
Right.
And people, I have my buddy Akisano. He's from Atlanta.
Okay.
Then I have my buddy Ariel Indra. He's got a fucking mix. My buddy Tonis, he does like deep house. I'm like, he's from New York. Then I'm trying to go global.
Right. No, that's sick, because I feel like everyone right now has just been super local. No, like it's not a shot, but like it's just been super local, and no one's been taking chances outside of like when it's a label involved. Like, no one brings out fucking big people, you know,
right?
Like collective wise or anything like that,
right? And you know, like right now, it's like I just kind of want to have fun, and this kind of just be like my little baby. Just like even if I'm not getting shows, I want this to be my little staple.
Right.
I want this to be something I have fun with. It's something I can.
Yeah.
All right. I'm doing something.
Yeah.
And like
that's how I felt during quarantine. That's the only reason why I did that little mix series. Was just because like I was like, well, like we can't be with each other, so it's just like fucking let me just funnel one little avenue so people can just go through like now 15 or whatever mixes, you know. And yeah, just that was pretty fun. But yeah, the mix series stuff is really fun just because you gotta like you're almost like meet like George.Daniel presents, you know, this artist, you know.
Look, I'm just like it's definitely how that feels like, because in a sense I want everybody to look at you guys like it's about everybody being one. I'm like, that's what the music's about. I'm like, so why do we have to be enemies?
Right.
I'm like, why are you playing music that's about community and love?
Yeah.
And then you're not even about that. I'm
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
so I'm like, I project the attitude that I want people to give back to me.
Right.
So like, if I'm happy, like, bitch, give me that happiness. Share those smiles. Like that's what I want. That's what I want out the world, and that's kind of why I also fell in love with the house community.
Yeah.
Like the rave community. It's about peace, love, unity, respect.
No, I mean, yeah, especially like after going to Dirty Bird and going to like a camp out type festival. Like I did Hard Summer, and that was a camping one, but it wasn't the same. Like Dirty Bird, it was like different. It felt like real, real
family,
and like that's where I met Fabian, and like he's now like one of my best friends, like, and he just so happened to be camping right next to me, like, but yeah, it was just like those things or those moments of like pure debauchery, how it brings you together.
No, and that's what I kind of fell in love with. Like, it was just the energy. Like, it's corny as fuck, just the energy on the dance floor.
Yeah,
like was just like, oh my god, like, this is infectious. Like, I think I could do this forever.
Yeah.
And I think like the first night at Audiotistic, I was like, oh my god, these motherfuckers are going crazy. I'm like, is this the music making them do that?
Yeah.
I'm like, bet I could feel that. Like, and there's people on each other's shoulders. Fucking motherfuckers just hugging each other.
Yeah.
Everybody talking to each other. Like, you have no idea what this person's background is. And you're just like, are you okay? like you just look, literally. You make eye contact and you're like, bro, you good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just having a good time. And it's just that community. Like, it was just like, oh, shit.
That's dope as fuck. Yeah, because I mean, I used to go to like Rock the Bells. I've seen like, I go to all these, I used to go to like strictly hip hop concerts or whatever. And like, I would always have gone to like GTA and like honestly Diplo and Dylan Francis and like, like those artists.
I remember you talking about the moment too.
yeah. I still feel the way about it. Sorry, Dylan. But yeah, no, fucking like I always went to EDM shows, but it wasn't just like, oh, I only like house. It was like, no, sometimes I want to go to DNA Lounge and go to Rhythm Night, and like stuff like that. Whereas I love just like experiencing someone else's corner of the world for a little bit, and plus like drugs, like, like if you're not having a good time,
close
you
your
can't.
ears. It's the drugs.
Yeah, but
and like I think the enhancers definitely help, like that kind of eye-opening sensation, like, okay, maybe I don't have to be this way. Right. Like I can see things through someone else's eyes, and that's going to another tent that you've never been to before. Right. Like, and also first time I experienced Ganja White Night, I'm like, I don't ever think I would love dubstep.
Yeah.
But when those motherfuckers play, I was like, this is actually pretty lit.
Yeah. It's pretty tight. When something's done well, you're just like, you can't hate on it, and like, especially when it comes to like, I feel like art is art, obviously, but like something with music is completely different from every other platform.
Facts.
Where like it with lyrics or a cappella literally could bring people to tears, and that's just based on an emotion from sounds.
Bro. Bro.
That shit's crazy.
It's beautiful.
Dude,
it's beautiful.
Danny high as fuck right now. Dude, this is high Danny right now. Like,
Pre-game.
Ladies and gentlemen,
but no, seriously.
High Times 101.
But for real, like music is so fucking tight. Like, I mean, a painting can't move me to tears. I don't think. I've never experienced it.
But
you
throw
know?
some music on that bitch.
But like, yeah, like, I mean, even like what Jay-Z and Beyonce did with their music video when they did it in France at that one fucking place where the Mona Lisa is. Like that was like putting like using their art of dance and music alongside art that it's part of everyone's life, I'm assuming, like so like it's one of those,
it's
like,
making that connection,
right?
It's making that connection.
From something that was like 2000, like not 2000 years, but like like 200 years ago or whatever, which is fucking sick. And like that's the power of music. It's like we are the world, like that's still a thing.
And if you don't know, that's Michael Jackson.
Yeah, and everyone and
literally
and others
and others. Stevie Wonder's in there. Like when Michael Jackson and others.
Literally
held it down. No,
it's kidding. Michael Jackson featuring
right. Everybody, literally everybody else, Elton John and everybody's in that shit.
Literally legends.
Legends.
No, but like it's like shit like that where that's, to me, I really, music was my like way of dealing with shit and having conversations with myself with someone telling me their story. That's why I loved hip hop. Hip hop was just always the shit, And
that's same.
And mostly because I think immigrants and black people in America have such a like similar right.
Like
if you're if you're on DACA, like there's like in a lot of ways, like you didn't choose to come here, like why am I dealt these cards and like I have to stay on this, like do like,
good or you go home.
Yeah, like to a place that you've never been, maybe. So it's just shit like that where it's just like that, like those stories of just like not knowing identity, not knowing there's not a real country that you can be like, oh yeah, I can like trace myself back to this or whatever, X, Y, and Z. Back like the same way that I can't be like, I don't know my grandma. Like I know her now, but like I didn't grow up with her. Like I've seen her 3 times.
And that's like why, like you have such a connection to the people that are around you because it's like, this is what I know, and when you choose your friends, it becomes more of a connection. Yeah. And because you're like, okay, I got to choose these motherfuckers and these motherfuckers are sacred. Out of all you billions of motherfuckers, these are the sacred motherfuckers that I choose to have around me and continue to spread my love, like, and it's so much easier to choose, like, it's so much easier to choose the people that you have around you because you're like, I don't have to like you. I don't have to like you, motherfucker. But it's like, you know what? I can bear with your bullshit because you are special. Yeah. Like, and that's kind of what kind of introduced. Well, that has nothing to do with music, but like going back to music, like it kind of made me want to do things differently in my way. Right. Like, even now, like, if you come to my set, like, I might play bass house. I might play fucking minimal. I might play this. I might play that. I'm like, that's just because that's what I'm feeling at that moment. Right. I'm like, I enjoy all kind of music, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna give you. Yeah. Like, exactly. No, like, I feel that. Like I'm having fun, and like I might give you some funky house, and then we might end up vibing out to some fucking disco at the end of this bitch. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I'm like, we can go anywhere, like, and that's just kind of like the journey of everything, like. We all see things differently, and let's all take this journey. We all take our journey separately. Right. I'm like, but luckily when we come to that dance floor and say, like, after working all week, being fucking cooped up in that job that we fucking all hate, or jobs, like literally. When we get on that dance floor, like I want to feel like the person next to me is a good person. Yeah. And that's why, I can, like I said earlier, I want to spread the energy that I want to receive back.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, so it's just like when I see my neighbor, what's good? How you doing? I hope you're
dude,
right.
to be completely honest, like I love going to the clubs and everything, but dude, when I'm at a festival with thousands of people where like I don't know the 20 people surrounding me,
Right.
you know, maybe I might know someone fucking 40 rows down that way, you know, but like outside of that, like no one knows me and I'm not gonna fucking see you again,
Right,
you know,
ever.
like ever. So it was just like I can just fucking lose my mind a little bit for a second, just boogie, you know, and like, dude, I love fucking festivals because that's when I can really just get down and like just close my eyes for a second, just fucking go in, you know.
Like, yeah,
But,
no.
like I don't feel like that comfortable at a club because it's literally like like two people down. I fucking know everyone, you know,
Right.
and like everyone's just like everyone's like trying to network and shit, and just like
Right,
why can't we
right,
just
right,
vibe out, you know, for a
right.
sec.
You're right. No, there's definitely those moments. There's like you now being a part of the circle and knowing a few people, you know, it's like everyone's networking. Me, you, like we're all just trying to make sure.
Well, I mean, if you're like not networking, you're not working. You
Right,
know? So
right.
it's like that
if
sucks.
if you didn't say hi to every DJ there,
Yeah.
you're fucking lacking.
Yeah, and it's just like,
Like-
dude, like it's
And,
insane.
you know,
And then sometimes, like, dude, like sometimes I just go to the club with my girl, and it's just like, but everyone's there. Now I'm like at work rather than just like kicking it with my girl.
right,
You know,
right.
and it's just like,
that's kind of like, I think like sometimes like I've gone to like events and like not told anyone I'm in town, just so I can like
that's how it felt.
blend in.
Right, that's how it felt when Alex played. Alex Edward, he played at Midway when he opened up for fucking what's his name?
I forgot.
Yeah, but you were there anyway.
No, I wasn't there.
No, yeah, you were at Midway like a year ago. I swear to God. But anyways,
I know I'm everywhere.
it was one
I
of those
realized
moments-
slowly, like I'm like, but my memory is like fucking shit.
yeah, no, but it was hella funny
the
because
weed.
it was just like because I know how far you travel, so it's just like
Right.
anytime I see you anywhere, I'm just like, holy shit, like you know, it's like, dude, let's fucking go. Now it's a real party. Like now we can really start.
I appreciate that. I'm like, I just want like I said, I just want everybody to have a good time. Look, if we're not here for tomorrow's not promised, so let's get the fuck
Right.
Let's get the fuck down. If you're not shaking that ass while you're on this dance floor, you should probably not be here.
Right.
Because I understand it. Let me see you two step. Let me see your head nod. Something.
Yeah.
Give me notice that you're having a good time. I want to make sure you're good.
Yeah.
Like at first, I'm like, I didn't know what I was doing on that dance floor. But I knew I wanted to have a good time. And I see, you know, growing up, you know, like men dancing is gay. I'm like, bro, like you.
That's hella weird.
That's hella weird.
Because to me, like being brown, like if you were like that 13 to like 17 age, like there was so many quinceañeras and shit, and like the only time you can get pussy is if you knew how to dance, you know.
Bruh.
And like that was out. My reality was just like, all right, well, like, and then that like dancing and being comfortable to do it in those settings. Then in like middle school, me and my boy Sergio, we fucking entered the talent show, you know, and like did that shit. And it was just like,
That's
you
fucking
know,
awesome.
just to be like silly goose, you know, and just fucking run around, you know, and just like what the fuck, like it's just, those are just like, you know, like literally like the one of the most like fun moments, you know.
Dude, no, I was in a quinceañera too. I was in her name was Monique.
Yeah.
Like we had grew up and went to middle school together, ended up going to high school together.
Right.
And but in middle school she was like, yeah, you want to be a part of my quinceañera? I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Like I'll probably never be able to say I did this ever again.
Right.
I'm like she was like,
That's so San Jose.
dude, like that's growing up here, you know,
So
like
San Jose.
dude, like there was like it's like a black kid, an Asian kid, like and like what the fuck was that kid? Oh my god, he was Pacific. It's some kind of Pacific island,
Right.
And he was Filipino.
Bet.
And so he was like, we were all just there. I'm like, dude, this is so weird, but at the same time, that's growing up in San Jose. Like
Yeah.
you get that good mixed bag.
Yeah.
You just shake that shit up.
No, for real. Like, and it also like, dude, like, especially growing up here in the Bay, like if you live on one block, your friend on 2 streets down is having a different experience,
Dude.
you know, just based on his neighbors, you know, like, yeah, everyone's a working class person, you know, for the most part. Unless you're living in the high rises now that you're a tech bro, you know, and all that shit. But like, yeah, that's growing up here in the Bay, you know, like, especially in the subs, you know, and like, yeah, it's fucking sick. Like growing up in the Bay, I always tell my mom, like, you could have chosen anywhere else in the country to just fucking
To plant your seeds.
yeah. And then, like,
Right,
I'm
right.
like, and you fucking knocked it out of the park. Mountain View, where Google was fucking just barely fucking coming up, and then
Like,
next
Mom, I know you didn't probably understand stocks, but you should have.
yeah, but you know, like,
You know,
It is
that's
what
what that. Yeah, it is what it is.
and, yeah, and but yeah, no, it's just fucking, it's crazy because like, yeah, I went to Graham, and Graham, like, they would get like laptops from Google and like all
Right.
these donations and all this shit, and then like even
That's
when I
it.
got kicked out from my regular high school and went to the continuation high school, I fucking like Google was still like sponsoring them, you know, so Google
Damn.
sponsor us, you know, like yeah, but yeah, just shit like that, and like that's like the Bay Area experience, you know, seeing like me growing up seeing self-driving cars, like
Dude.
like 12 years before, you know,
Dude, before
that shit
like
was
they're
insane.
freaking getting released on the streets, I'm like, before Tesla.
Yeah, nah, like for real, and it's crazy. And then also just like me, like I had a weird experience or not weird experience, but like a unique experience where I worked at a country club, and they would hold like business meetings and like or conferences and shit like that, where different companies would be talking about their latest software and how like blah 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 and all this shit, and I'd just be busting tables like listening to all this shit.
Dude.
I'm like, fuck, dude, like oh, that's how they do it, you
Right.
know, like that's how they do like all like how to get your car to do what it wants and like all this other shit.
Dude, that's like when I was working at like I used to work at the freaking Levi Stadium, and like you see like all the governors coming in to watch the football game.
Right. Speaking of the Niners, I served Jed York also.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
I'm like,
that's
that's
the
awesome.
country club that I was at.
Dude,
Follow
I'm
the
like-
Hills.
I'm like-
I want to shout you out, but you were also really not a great place to work.
Hey, okay. I'm like, since we're shouting out people we served, I'm like, offshore. What the fuck is it? Thornton? What is his name?
Jim Thornton.
Jim Thornton
Hell yeah. I just guessed.
from freaking the San Jose Sharks.
Oh,
Joe,
okay.
Joe Thornton.
Jeff
Joe-
Thornton. Jeff.
Joe.
Joe.
I was like,
Joe. I'm sorry. Joe.
Yeah.
I'm huge
Dude,
fan, man.
that motherfucker is humongous.
Yeah.
He, dude, I'm like on skates, bro. That man is like 6'6",
6'7".
bro, 6'7". I'm like, I don't look up to a lot of people,
Yeah.
but that motherfucker's big.
Yeah.
I'm like, he is a gentle giant. Like,
Someone who I've served to who scared the living shit out of me was Cain Velasquez. And he came into Phil's one time.
Oh shit.
And it was just like
where?
Middlefield. Yeah, Middlefield. And it was just like, you are the scariest man. This is pre-attempted murder.
I met him before he was old. Actually, crazy.
Nah, but like fighters like that, like their skin is scary. It's like leather. It's like leather because it's so
Bro, they
calloused
just
and shit.
fucking
You know, and it's just like
humble.
holy shit, dude. Like he like just looking at it. Like if you ever get to see a UFC fighter like in the flesh, like if you see Nate Diaz, you know, and all them, like their
Right.
face is like calloused,
Dude,
and it's like scary. But like those motherfuckers will kill you.
Dude, I'm like, that cauliflower.
If you
That
see that, if
shit
you
is
see that,
gross.
and you're yelling at someone or you're trying to get into
You
it,
know you about to get your ass.
lost.
You stop
You
talking.
lost. Yeah.
Stop talking.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. Eat every word you said and back away slowly.
Yeah. No, literally. Yeah.
I'm like, dude, don't even start arguing. I'm like, just apologize. Even if it was that motherfucker's fault.
It's your fault now.
You don't want those hands.
Yeah.
That shit is deadly.
Yeah, they literally got to register those motherfuckers. You know?
Like, dude, like one of these guys I know, he does his name is Peter. He does MMA. He's been training for fucking 25 years. I'm like, I never noticed because his ears are so tucked back.
Yeah.
I'm like I never noticed because I look at him straight on, and then probably 5 months ago, I just looked at him like, God damn! I'm like, you really get your ass whooped.
Yeah.
Like that shit looks like it hurts. I'm like, that shit's just like folded back flat. I'm like,
fuck all that.
That shit's gnarly.
Yeah, my coworker, he does MMA, but he's like 50 years old. But that fool looks good, no homo. Like he's like still yoked as fuck and all this shit. But like no, like straight up, like he like keeps like talking about like MMA and all this stuff, and I just jokingly always because he's like this alpha guy, you know. So I'm just like always just like, oh yeah, so how's Taekwondo? Like, oh, you know, like how's
He's just
karate?
like raging inside. He's just like, oh, you son of a bitch.
And I'm just like, you know, I'm just playing with you, right? You know, and like before he tries to fucking beat my ass or some shit.
He's like, little George.
Yeah,
I will hurt you. He's like, I have a set of skills.
I believe it.
Hit you with that Liam Neeson real quick.
Yeah,
like,
for real.
And like that's just dangerous.
But okay, so right now, or we kind of like talked about what you wanted to do for like goals for 2023, and then with the mix series that you have going on, what do you think outside of just like kind of like doing a mix series to like help spread the word for others, and everything like. What do you have any like intention of maybe like trying to get some of those people together for a show and do something like that?
At the moment,
I mean, all of them are from fucking
everywhere.
So like, that's kind of hard.
And that's not really the goal right now. The goal is to eventually start doing shows, but it's mostly just right now. It's just kind of me having fun,
right.
me wanting to put spotlight on people that I love what they do.
Yeah,
like, and these are all sounds that I love. Deep house, taking bass house, you know, funky house, you know, like these are all sounds that I love. Minimal, like all these people play these sounds,
right?
Like, and for me, like when I go see these people, I have a good time.
Yeah.
Like, and so I'm like, why aren't you why you don't know about this person?
Yeah.
Like, so like, and so it just kind of helps open that door for people who haven't heard about them. You know, like, and it's on. You know what? To be honest, it's for me.
No,
I like enjoy these mixes. Like I love you guys. Like, and I'm like, man, you guys are making these mixes so cool. I'm like freaking Groovy Goddesses mix. I was like, girl. I'm like, when I literally okay, and we full circle back to what we were talking about earlier. Music touches you. Yeah. And so I'm working and listening to this mix, and like I'm literally like had to stop because I'm coming to tears, and I'm like, oh my God, like fucking this is so fucking beautiful. Like if I were to listen to this set live, I'd be literally on my knees like and like, no joke, I'm literally crying. And I'm like, damn, this is fucking awesome. Like, so ghost check that fucking mix. And like, but you know, like I said, they're for me. Like I want you guys to listen to them, but in the end, like, I hope you guys have a good time listening to it, but they're really for me. Yeah. Like these are my friends. I know like some people don't really have a, you know, taste for mixes, and you know it's you know, speculation or whatever. It's up to you. But when you listen to a mix that is well curated and somebody actually has fun with, instead of putting somebody in a pigeonhole, kind of like, okay, make this sound like this. And like when when I told the people that I have asked so far, like they're like, "Oh, do you want it to sound like this?" I'm like, "No, I asked you to be you."
Right. Yeah. That's, like I like with me, like sometimes like I say no to some shows just because like I know I don't fit what they want.
Right.
You know, like I'm not gonna give you what you want. I'm gonna play my set. You know. But yeah, like that's kind of the same way when I did the mixes during quarantine. Like it was just like some people did bass house, some people did like bass, like just like rhythm type
Right.
shit.
Straight trap.
Yeah,
Right.
and like it was just like that was tight. Like that's what I want. You know,
Exactly.
Like, don't try to like do a bass house set like just because I'm
asking you exactly.
Yeah, you know,
have
like,
fun. This is you.
And like and yeah, even with that mix, I think it's one of the most listened to mixes on that series,
Right.
Which is fucking sick. And he's fucking killing it too. Shout out to Justo. But yeah, like that's what I really just like love music, you know? So like, I don't like when I mix, like I'm thinking of like, it's going to be all under the umbrella of house only because like, just to kind of like keep it within the borders.
Right.
Of,
No,
like,
dude,
something.
when we were doing that B2B, I was like, damn, he pulling that out the bag. I'm like, I'm not gonna drop the names. I'm like, all I'm gonna say was it was the Jolene fucking live edit you did.
Yeah.
And I was like, bitch.
Yeah, no, like I already said that. It's one of my favorite fucking little combos.
I was like,
dude, when you can mix in Cardi B into
okay, you giving it away.
No, I'm putting it. I'm saying it out loud so people know where fucking
he did it first.
Like,
It's been on a couple podcasts.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, that shit is nasty.
Yeah, no, I did it for what was it? It was an after hours for Outside Lands,
right?
And we did it at this bar that's literally across the street from the exit. So literally, there's people funneling in. People are coming out through the window because it's easier that way. Like it was insane. You know?
Like bitch, we getting up in this, bitch.
And it's 3 days. You know, so we were just going in for 3 days. Like yeah, it was insane. And like because it was like like the first day it's random, so you can play whatever you want, right? Like you don't know the crowd yet, you know. And then the second day, then you start getting those like, oh, I'll meet you at that bar, like blah, blah, blah. And then now they're like, yo, how you doing? Like when are you on?
We're friends now.
Yeah. And then by the third day, you have like the people who were either there on the first or second day, like there to the very end. You know, It was so fucking sick. Yeah, that's one of my favorite shows that we do. And that's just like me. It's literally always just me, Fabian, and Christian just going back to back for like 4 hours. And yeah, it's so much fun. But speaking of back-to-backs, our back-to-back was fucking crazy, right? And like what I love about, I know I take big swings, you know, sometimes. But like you know how to fucking like groove, no pun intended, you know, with the motion, you know, and you can like you have the library and the execution ability.
Right. I love like for me, like I'm still in Record Box, like making sure that I got my shit right.
Right.
Like that's just like kind of one of my like favorite things. I get off fucking Silence of the Lambs and just like, yes, it's organized.
Yeah.
So like I just love fucking music. Like it's just so fun, like being able to go so many different directions. Like I love being able to like let's go smooth and then let's get super hype gradually.
Right.
And then I'm like, let's bring it back down and like fucking let's just fucking shoulder rock.
Yeah. No, I feel that.
Like fucking yeah. So I think my favorite. What's your favorite tempo to play at?
Tempo? Probably like 127, 128.
Yeah, I think me playing minimal started off with like that 130, and like because minimal is at like 128, 129. I'm like most now, like music's getting faster just in general.
Yeah, me and Christian. I mean, not to cut you off or anything, but me and Christian, we would play like Chris Lake at like 140 because we wanted to like mix it in with Jersey Club,
right?
You know, and like shit like that. Like, dude, like that's why like I'm telling you, like when I get like those big swings where I'm like, who would have thought Bodak Yellow and fucking Jolene would like actually mix pretty okay,
Bruh.
You know, and it's just like those weird moments when I used to mix like I would use this program called DJ Pro, so like I can use my Spotify songs and my library,
right?
And then before I even buy a song, I can practice with it first, you know,
right,
would it mix? But since I had my entire library, I would like mix in Mac Miller, Mac DeMarco, Mac Dre, all the Macs. But yeah, like literally, like fucking, it was fun. But like, I knew I could never actually do that when it came down to like CDJs.
Right.
Like it would be like almost impossible just because like
right.
Unless I got like chopped it down when I got the
and like once you get
like, I didn't
like once you get to like you just start looking up like when you start getting to that level and like start like getting like splicing stuff and like stemming out stuff. There we go. Just because like that's what I've been doing lately, and like even with like there's songs that I'm like, okay, this is sick, but it's hella long. The process of the song, the process of the song is like it swings the bridge. I'm like, it's such a vibe, but I'm like, it needs something.
Right.
I'm like, and I just throw in that vocal, boom.
Yeah.
I'm like, now we got a whole nother vibe.
Yeah.
I'm like, and now we can keep that shit going. I'm like, like there's this one freaking song. There's this one song. It's called "All Over My Face" by freaking Cassium, and it just repeats that freaking same funky ass disco. It's all over my face.
Yeah.
And like I'm like, I turn the mids down and throw a whole nother vocal over it, and it becomes like this whole nother vibe. I'm like. And it just makes it more fun.
Yeah,
and like that's what I loved about when we did our B2B. It was like it was so all over the place in a good way.
Right.
Like you were throwing in vocals, and I'm like, okay, hold on, let me see what I got.
Yeah. Especially then because we were going like 30 minutes.
Yeah, 30.
Yeah. So like literally like the way that since it like with those back to backs, like I did one with Christian recently here in San Jose at Social, and like it was 30 minutes each, you know, but like that's just me practicing for my full hour, you know,
right,
or that different hour,
right.
And yeah, like that's why I would go from like I think the last bit or the first half was like kind of like just house funky. I did that. I played like Groovy Cat, you know,
right.
And then like the next one was kind of like bassier. And then the last one was like Latin.
Right.
It was just kind of like, all right, like these are the styles that I normally mix at. But like I'm like practicing for that full hour so I can play a full Latin house, you know, or a full bass or all that stuff.
And that's kind of, sorry to cut you off, you know, that's kind of like how I started. You know, I was doing Twitch for a long time.
Yeah.
Unlike, well, not a long time. I was doing Twitch for like 6 months during quarantine. And so I fucking loved it. Like, and that's kind of where I kind of like would dive deep into like my deep house and my minimal. Like I would have Wednesdays and Thursdays would be, well, Wednesdays would be deep house, and then we freaking Friday and Saturday would be freaking bring your own glow sticks. Like and fucking I would just go in. I'm like I would play like bass house, and then it got to the point where I was like, you know what, I'm just on freaking Saturdays I would play like I would want to play out.
Right.
And so it got to the point to where I was like, okay, I want to make some of this minimal in there, at least in the beginning or in the middle to kind of give a break.
Right.
Like kind of, you know, like, cause there's always those fast sets and you're like, I need a break, but we still going. I'm like, and like, you want to give the people a break, at least in my eyes, you know, give them I'm like, we going to take a break from shaking that ass for a second. And then we're going to go back.
Exactly. You definitely need to give everyone a breather for a little bit. Just kind of like that. I was saying this last podcast, just kind of like touch base with their homies, you know?
Yeah.
And then like, you know, just be like, oh, dude, we're doing this. And then fucking go back into debauchery, you know? But yeah, so like going into your sets, like how would you say that you kind of like, do you go in like not knowing what you're going to play, or do you know at least like the first like 2 songs that you would like to start off with or end with? Because I know a lot of people like to like know what they're ending with rather than planning it like the beginning.
I would say I play in the beginning. I play in the beginning, and then kind of like adapt to like what's gonna happen, or like what's happening with the crowd.
Yeah.
And kind of crowd watch. But like there'll be some times where I'm like, okay, I have a whole list of songs that I'm like, okay, depending on who I'm playing with, I'm like, okay, I know they're not going to play this. I know they're not going to play this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and get into my super underground bag and be like, okay, I know they're not going to play this. I was like, I know every time I watch this person, I know they're not going to play this kind of stuff.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, boom. That leaves hella room for me to be like, all right, we just gonna dive all over the place.
Yeah, no, I like, my favorite thing to do sometimes is like, or like who I want to be as a DJ is just that. Like I want to be a DJ, but I want to play all my friends like unreleases or like stuff like that.
Right.
So it's not like I'm not going to play you any of my songs because I don't have any songs, you know, like I want to just like, I want you to come to my set not knowing what the fuck's going to go, like what's going to happen. And just know that it's going to be some like fucking, some new shit regardless,
right.
You know? And like that's who I like how I always envision myself. Like I don't like producing stuff would be awesome at some point. But like I wanna know what like sounds I like first. And so DJing allows me to play. Right. And just kind of mold myself a little bit. But like until I get like the balls to like get Ableton and like try to do
Trust me, that bitch is expensive. I'm on Logic right now, and I was just looking at it the other day, and I'm like, it's gonna be another year.
Yeah, no, it's like that's the thing. Like, I mean, the barrier to entry is just you having a laptop for the most part,
right?
But and then people always just like, oh, you can always just rip your songs. You can always do that. Yeah, but the quality isn't there, you know, and you can definitely hear it. And like, like that's why it's just like I'll wait until like I'm down to get Ableton rather than just getting like something, and then just knowing that I'm just gonna fucking.
It's not gonna be right.
Yeah.
right.
It's like a different program, you know?
Right.
Like it's a completely different program. So I'm just gonna have to like set myself back just to relearn.
No, and honestly, it's such a learning curve. Like I'm still learning. Like I still don't know my particular sound because I enjoy all these sounds. So so I just kind of try to see where I'm going.
Yeah.
And like, just make music that I enjoy. Mm-hmm. Like I just started 2 new songs just yesterday. Yeah. And I'm like, they don't sound at all alike, but I'm like, you know, I enjoy it. Right. Like, so I know there's going to be somebody else that enjoys it.
Yeah. No, I feel like with me, the way that I want to release shit, it would be like doing a beat, some of whatever genre, you know, and then allowing like 3 or 4 homies who do
to remix it. Right.
Like that would be fun. It would be cool to send something to like a friend who does R&B and seeing what she can do. If the song doesn't have vocals, if she sends it back with vocals and shit, like that would be insane, you know?
Right.
And then, you know, just doing shit like that. Or if it's just like a friend who is like a pianist and then he just fucking breaks it down that way. Like that would be cool as fuck. Rather than just being like, oh, this is another house version of this song, you know, depending on where you are in your set, this is what you can play, you know?
Right. And that's what I like about remixes too. Like, there's like this new remix by Sydney Charles. Yeah. That's, the original song is like, It's called Nobody Else, and it's on Hot Creations.
Okay.
It's originally like a super housey song, and it's like just kind of chill, basic, and then his remix is like dives into like 80s break house, like that freaking that prime 80s music, like like fucking like, and it's like, oh shit, like wait, this is a whole different vibe. Like, and you get like it, yes, it's still house, but it gives it that 80s old school feel. It gives it that different touch that you wouldn't have really expected from it.
So okay. You not knowing, like, you when you started listening to house, right, was because of your girl, or your fiance, would you say, like, did you have a fun time learning that like house was invented by blacks, and African Americans out in Detroit and shit?
Okay, first, bro. Okay,
because like, dude, like for real, like
growing up, trust me, growing up, not what all black people think is, I love all cultures,
right?
But they all think that's white people shit, right? And I'm like, why do you say that?
I think it's because people get confused with house and disco,
right? And I'm like, even then, I'm like,
even disco was
even then, I'm like, dude, like they get so put in a box, and I'm like, I love my people, but I'm like, please remember that. we have touched a few other things besides just hip hop,
right? And like that was like, I guess that's kind of like my argument with like being like with all these like white producers like making like Latin house stuff and like that's my argument where it's just like, well, like this is our shit, dude. Like, no, can we have something?
No, and I totally feel that, like, and that's kind of where like when I see black people at these festivals, and I'm like I'll see security guards and I'll be like, and I'll see them, like nodding their head.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, hey, like freaking, and my fiance always gets on me. She's like, you had to give your whole spiel, didn't you? And I'm like, yes. I'm like, I had to let them know.
It is history.
It's history.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, yeah, there's like, I mean, in a lot of ways, like, oh, dude, I'm a real history nerd. And I really like for real, like really, 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 really love history. So like the thing is like a lot of us, like our cultures are drums. Like drums are fucking, that's our soul.
Right.
When it comes down to like music and dance and how we fucking like express ourselves with sound. And like that's essentially what hip hop is. That's essentially what house is. It's just a kick and a snare, and then fucking hopefully there's a call and response. Because call and response was just the way of us telling stories and being like how we agree with one another and all this other shit. And like and like for real, like this is just me kind of nerding out. But yeah, that's why like music to me is just so much more than what like just Spotify playlists. Like like it's really it's something that like touches everyone in different ways, and you may not like every genre of music, but I feel like if you can try to understand music, you can almost try to understand people,
right? And like that's kind of where I landed with understanding house, was like these people are doing things differently, and I'm like, it's all cultivating into one culture.
Yeah.
I'm like, and it's just like boom, like it's a like clusterfuck of all these different backgrounds coming together, and like original house, was made by these Latin Americans, Latin Americans, Black Americans, and like who are all just growing up in poverty and just like connecting,
right?
And like that's like when like freaking Harry Romero, like Harry Romero, freaking Marshall Jefferson, all these people, growing up in different backgrounds, but being able to connect through one sound.
Yeah.
You know, like it's so fucking awesome.
Yeah. No,
Like,
that's why I love music festivals. No matter what the genre is, like no matter like I went to Rock the Bells, I went to BFD, I've been to Beyond Wonderland, like
right.
I've been to them, you know. I've been to fucking Warped Tour, like, you know, like I'll do the shit. Like
right.
I'll
only thing I say I wouldn't like I've been to smaller concerts. I wish I would have been to I wish and then I don't wish I would have been to Rolling Loud.
Yeah.
Because like
Rolling Loud was like the new age era of what Rock the Bells was. Rock the Bells was LL Cool J.
Right,
I saw fucking Eazy-E.
Oh shit.
As a hologram. That shit was crazy.
I was about to say, I was like, wait.
Yeah, no, that shit was crazy. Eazy-E and fuck, who was it? Oh, Old Dirty Bastard.
I'm like, dude,
as holograms. That shit was insane. Yeah.
I'm like, that's so interesting. I'm like, just let them be dead.
Yeah. But also, like, selfishly, it was kind of fucking sick. And also just like seeing Snoop next to Eazy-E while they're rapping, fucking, you know, just whatever. I'm just like, oh shit, this is fucking crazy. But yeah, that's why like I just love music and like what it does. And that's why like it kind of baffles me that there isn't more, you know, like I don't see more black and brown. I mean, brown kids more now so than anything. Mm-hmm. There's more of us, but like there's not like a lot of black.
Trust me, bro. That's why I just try to spread the word to my people as much as I can.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I need you here.
Yeah,
I need you at these shows. You know,
there's this podcast, Flagrant with Andrew Schultz and everyone, and then they went to Burning Man. And Alex, the producer, he's black, right? And then he was just like, dude, like every year that I go, I'm just like, I just need to spread the word, you know, just bring as many, you know, of us out there because there's not a lot of us out there.
Right.
But like, we need to see this shit. It's fucking tight, you know?
Right.
It's different.
Exactly.
And like, and that just, it kind of reminded me of like, with me, I just said yes to shit. I would just go, you know, and do shit, and just try it out, you know, not knowing that like, oh, all of a sudden, just because I said yes to one homie, next thing you know, we're getting picked up to go to like Los Altos Hills to a party. And it was just like, oh shit, this is what we're doing tonight. Okay, cool.
Fuck it.
And then there's other nights. There's other nights where you're just like, all right, well, like we're just gonna kick it here. And then next thing you know, we're out till like 4 a.m. getting drunk somewhere, like, you know, and like doing that shit.
Right.
Taking at the homie's house,
taking the BART to San Francisco and staying overnight.
Yeah. But that's just how it was like growing up, and it was just like it was weird. And then I would also do. Can you pass me the letter?
Yeah.
Like I also did like Jesus Camp, and like, you know, I had like 600 hours of like community service, like. I paid my dues.
I paid my dues. I feel it.
Yeah.
Freaking, I would say like, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. You know, like, oh my God, I'm drawing a fucking blank. I'm sorry, I did that out.
No, you're
I got you.
Fucking, I would definitely say like when trying to get more black people to these shows, you know, I just remind them like, people that look like you started this music.
Yeah.
You know, like, they were different background. Yeah, their hip hop wasn't around. Unlike hip hop wasn't fully established at that time. Unlike there was nothing else. Unlike you would enjoy this. Right. And I'm like, just be open-minded. And sometimes it's hard for some people to be open-minded when they haven't experienced something different.
Sometimes it pisses me off. When I'm like, hey, do you listen to the genre? And they're like, ill, no. And I'm like, you can't just say ill, no to an entire genre.
That's just but like, you know,
like if I say, oh, do you listen to rock? Like, I don't mean fucking like Guns N' Roses,
heavy metal.
You know, I mean like to anything? Me, like Imagine Dragons is rock. You know, like that's me though. You know, so it's just like it's such a broad fucking thing. And yeah, like that's what like I used to have friends who would just be like, oh fuck country and all this shit, and like I'm like, yeah, but you know Taylor Swift, like like why you acting like you don't, you know, like it's pop but it's still country.
No, like honestly, I used to hate country, and then my mom showed me this song, and it's about he's talking about fishing, but he's not talking about fishing.
Yeah.
And he's talking about a girl that is nasty. She's skinny like a pole. She goes down like a bopper. And I was like, oh damn!
Dude, if that shit just had 808s behind it, people would go
Like
crazy.
go dumb. I'm like so I'm like, it just kind of opened my mind. I'm like, okay, I'm not opposed to country, and I'm like, yeah, okay,
yeah.
And so that kind of my mom was kind of like my inspiration behind like wanting more out of music, because we would always play music in the house. Shit would never get cleaned. She'd be like, "Go put on some music." I'm like, "We're gonna start cleaning." I'm like, no cleaning was done. Like we just end up dancing.
Yeah.
I'm like, and she played, like from R&B like Avant, fucking, like she bought me my first CD and my first fucking stereo.
Yeah.
My little freaking boombox, and my first CD ever was Outkast, Stank on You.
Oh,
and
okay.
I'm like, bro, I'm like, my mom was fucking awesome, and so she showed me
Bombs Over Baghdad, right? Yeah, that shit, it was crazy. Yeah, that album was insane.
Bombs Over Baghdad.
No, that one.
No.
That one's the later one.
That was later.
Yeah.
I think that was like 2002.
Yeah.
No, maybe later. But freaking it was the one with, I want to say it was Miss Jackson.
Oh, okay, bet. Yeah.
I could be wrong. I'm high.
Yeah. But dude, that's crazy because in my daycare, I went to a daycare because my mom worked there and everything, and like they used to have like CD players and all this shit, and they would have like weird obscure like country shit, but also they had Black Eyed Peas, one of those like their first albums or whatever, and like I till this day will stand for Black Eyed Peas. Like no matter what they put out, they put bangers. Even when they did that techno house album, that shit literally till this day you can play that shit. Dude, that shit is crazy. But yeah, like so your mom and like she was super influential in like the music that you listened to.
Yeah, she was playing like Maroon 5 and shit like that, and I'm like going to other black people's house and they're not playing this shit. And I'm like,
where's your mom like
my mom grew up in San Jose here.
Oh, no wonder. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm like, but she grew up, like she's such a down to earth person, and I'm like, that's kind of where I get my love for people. So she's just super talkative in her own sense. I'm like, she can light up a room,
right?
I'm like, so that's kind of where I just get my energy for loving people and shit like that.
Yeah.
And but yeah, like she loved music. She still loves music, and like when I started finding my own artists, I'd be like, "Oh, mom, this person's cool," and she'd be like, "Who?" And like, and then who is this? And like, we'd be sharing artists,
right?
And she'd start finding things that she liked.
Is your mom younger or like was she a young mom?
Yes, my mom was young.
Okay, cool. Same with mine. But it's crazy because like at least you guys had that language understanding. My mom would be playing like banda and like blah 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 and like I understood everything, but like it was just like I couldn't show her like what I would like. What I was listening to,
right.
You know, because one, it had too many swear words. Sorry,
right. I'm sorry,
yeah. But like, also, it was just like, it was just like not that language barrier. And like but that's why I feel like I have like in a lot of ways I have like two sides. You know, like even when I like speak in Spanish, sometimes I think about it in English. Right. You know. I think of the sentence in English first, and then I repeat it in Spanish.
And I've heard that with people who speak different dialects. It's just like you think differently. Your brain moves a lot differently. I'm like, but that's just so interesting to me.
And also, I'm left-handed, but I throw a football with my right. You know, so like
my son's ambidextrous. Super trippy.
Yeah, it's fucking. I'm like I said. I'm a kook, you know.
Don't make fun of him.
Yeah. But no, dude, it's fucking crazy.
Talent.
Yeah.
Ambidextrous.
Yeah. I'd like to think that, you know, that's just my brain being able to use all of it, you know?
Right.
Like, for the
Like we
most part.
got Lucy over here.
Yeah.
I'm like, have you ever seen that shit?
Dude, crazy.
Bruh,
Crazy film.
I was just telling my fucking coworker about that. I'm like, bro, you've never seen Lucy, bro? What is her name? Oh my god, I'm drawing a blank. Scarlett Johansson, right? Mm-hmm. Dude, okay, so this motherfucker tried to argue with me and tell me that wasn't Scarlett Johansson. I was like, I'm like,
dude, I love
no,
it.
yeah.
I'm like, bitch, I swear to God, that's Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah. Dude, Scarlett Johansson coming on the pod.
Hey, come through. I'm like, we blowing joints too.
Dude, if you will do hot ones, you can do this one.
Right? It's like, I'm the hot one.
Yeah. Like, come on.
But yeah, like, fuck. Sidetracked. I'm like, see, we. What?
But you were watching Lucy. You were telling your coworker.
Yeah, and so like, I'm like, dude, like, this is you being able to use part of your more than like 15% of your brain,
right?
And then he's like, that's not possible. I'm like, just watch the fucking movie. Like it
dude,
blows your mind.
Have you done
right?
Adderall?
Have you ever done a Presley before?
Yeah. Like, you be using a lot of parts. Like even just like fucking taking mushrooms.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I'm like,
dude.
I'm like,
Shout
out Nature Nibbles.
I know I'm poisoning myself, and I know that. But same with like alcohol. That's same with
Unlike a little poison won't hurt.
Yeah,
it builds your immune system.
But like I was thinking about this like the last time I was tripping, and I was just like,
oh my God.
And we were in Dolores, and I was just like, dude, isn't it crazy? Like, how every fucking story, isn't it crazy?
Yo, is it just me?
Yeah, like I'm like, isn't it crazy that like we're all just hanging out here and no one's bothering anyone? And like they all looked at me like weird, and I was just like, no, like, dude, we as like people and like like actually
we
like,
as a universe,
like
we're
like
not
really moving
it?
as a like we're really moving like as a unit and all this shit and like blah blah blah. But like the point being is like then like of course my like I said I have like two sides where I'm just like, yeah, like you don't know, like one of these guys could be a killer,
dude.
Dude. Just like one of those moments where it's just like it's
when
like
you let the intrusive thoughts take over, you're just
but
like
not, but like not even like in a weird way. It was just like
no.
I
feel it
because it was just like because like we always just like kind of like hang out everywhere, and I was just like, and while I was just tripping, I was like, dude, you never know who you're walking past by, like
no, and I always think about that, like that's why like
and like not even like in a scary way, more so just like you like that could be an author or something, that could be like right. This guy's like doing the philanthropist or some shit, and you just like walking by and everyone's fucking staring at your phones and shit, and like of course when you're tripping you can't stare at your phone,
and you're just enjoying life. You're just like
in it.
okay,
you're just like in it. You're just like, oh,
yeah,
dude,
you're
like,
actually in the live in the Matrix.
Yeah, you're just like, oh shit, dude. Like, it was just obviously a trippy
moment.
Experience.
Like no, and that's the interesting thing about taking mushrooms and shit. You like, damn, like you find an inner self to your inner self, and you're like, how hot am I?
Dude, go to the bathroom.
Go to the bathroom and you're sitting there and you're just like looking at the floor.
Dude, go to the bathroom and then like literally like the moment you like whatever you do and you look at yourself in the mirror, that's how fucked up you are.
Right.
Like, dude, anytime you look at yourself
like
in the mirror, you're
part.
just like, okay, we need a second.
Is that
you got
me?
it, bud. You got it.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, look, you need to get your shit together.
Yeah.
that talk you have with yourself,
dude.
I'm like at a party, at the fucking club, anywhere.
Even just like at festivals. I remember being at like I think it was like the Fisher Block party, but we took some mushrooms or whatever, and then like literally I went into the porta potty and just feeling the rumbles and shit, and I'm just like, oh my god, that like it just hit me, and I'm like, we're in it, bud. Like
no, dude, that happened to me. That happened.
Like,
that happened to me at EDC, and I'm like. the porta potty, like you said, is rumbling, and we're right by Cosmic Meadow, and that's just
Yeah.
and like the whole. I'm like, now I'm standing still and the porta potty's shaking and I'm shaking and my eyes are like, and I'm like, I can't even go pee. The toilet is like,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that's how it was for like fucking Countdown. Also, or not Countdown, Fresh Start. Or Claude was on and shit, and like you know how Claude he like sometimes goes into like some break
Some wonky shit.
yeah, and some wonky shit, yeah, like literally some wook shit, which is I fucking love every single time. Like there's a growing wook inside of me. I swear to God, like I'm about like 2K bumps from just being
From like
fucking,
going
just having like
look overboard,
like a glass amulet and shit, and fucking getting it one dress.
I can see it.
Yeah.
Like straight Luke,
Like-
straight Jedi style.
Yeah, exactly. But nah, like
Young Padawan, you have the wook in you.
dude,
May the wook be with you.
yeah, like when I went to Dirty Bird Campout, that Base Lodge stage, there was like something Ivy, fucking Ivy Lab.
I have honestly,
Ivy Lab and all like all
haven't
these.
been.
Oh, okay.
sad.
But no, and now I don't think they're gonna have it next year.
Okay, so
Rumor has it.
Okay, but I'm like, they also haven't said anything about it.
Yeah,
They're like, cause
no, they said that this was the last year at Modesto. But I think that supposedly they're gonna do some other stuff rather than a camp out. But yeah,
I'm like, hey man,
that
that's
kind
been
of
there for years.
Yeah, but it's also like probably like I don't like trying to find like a good venue that the venue likes you. Also, it's probably difficult in California.
I'm like,
Like it's when you're trying to do a camp
Right.
type thing, you know.
right.
It's like,
I'm like, they probably have so many restrictions. I'm like, I'm surprised they got away with it that long.
right. Oh, and also it's just like I mean, we're doing it at campsites, you know, like actual parks and shit, you know. So it's just like they're just like, yeah, but you guys leave it fucking like a
trashed.
disaster,
Right.
You know, and there's like fucking just like at the end of Dirty Bird, just like a fucking mound of just trash and just people are just throwing it wherever they can.
God
And
damn.
it's like, oh, dude, we're a mess. But also, like, what did
We're
where
a
did-
mess.
yeah.
We're a mess.
Yeah.
I'm part of that mess.
Yeah.
I feel it.
Yeah.
I feel it.
But also, Dirty Bird was awesome. Dirty Bird is awesome.
I'm sad that I didn't get to go the last 2 years because I live like right there.
Yeah, it's insane. You could have
Yeah.
snuck in.
No,
you could have
you
swam the
know,
lake or something.
Dude,
Just fucking
I'm like,
snorkeled over.
like,
Dude.
dude, I'm like, I was so thinking like, I need to go, but it just wasn't right.
Yeah.
I'm like the first year I was like, but the only time that I was actually really, really intrigued in going was this last year. And then I didn't know anybody was going. You were selling your ticket.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, but I had to sell my ticket just for like fucking. It was just like dumb to go. Like at that moment, like I was like almost like I was like not. I was like just didn't need to go and spend fucking $400-$500 on a weekend. You know,
I feel
on
that.
top of the already $400-$500 I paid for the ticket. You know, so it was just like I was just fucking. I'm like, why am I gonna go? And then like yeah, but I fucking last minute sold it. But it seemed like the guy who got it fucking had a great time. So hell yeah.
no, I feel it. I'm like I love going to small shows. Like, I love going to small shows. I think my favorite part is just being like,
What's your favorite venue?
right now, my favorite venue as far as sound goes would probably be Monarch.
Downstairs with the voids. Yeah.
That little bass curtain,
Yeah.
bro.
Dude.
My first time going there on mushrooms, and you go down the stairs and like you pull that little curtain.
Yeah.
And the bass hits you from that first one, that first void that's right there, and you just like open it and it's just
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
on mushrooms, I'm like, oh my God.
It's crazy. Yeah,
It was amazing. It was amazing.
when downstairs is popping, like upstairs, it's like you can hear the bass come through,
bro. You
know?
just
And you're
feel
just
it. You
like,
feel it downstairs, and you're just like, I'm like, I think I'm going downstairs.
yeah. Even like one time I mixed upstairs while something was going down or happening downstairs, and like literally I was trying to like match the beat, but I was feeling their fucking
bass and tempo. You're
Yeah,
like,
and I'm like, what is going? I'm like,
why the fuck am I off?
Yeah.
Like,
dude, it was like, it was such a weird experience because you use your senses, you know, to like
Right.
help you with everything, and then like now everything is just like off,
thrown
you know?
off. I'm like, you feel something else underneath your feet. You're like, do. Like,
Yeah.
okay, wait. Am I
But
tripping?
no, it was like, yeah, Monarch is fucking sick.
My second would be Halcyon, just because like how personal it is.
Yeah. Halcyon's fucking sick.
I love how just personal it is. Like being able to rub shoulders with the DJ is like,
Yeah.
it's awesome. I'm like all these people that you admire, and you just like, oh, I get to see you work.
Right.
I get to see you work.
It's fucking sick. It's definitely like a club.
Yeah.
You know, like where it's just like, here's a fucking space. There's the bar. There's the bathroom. Go
Bitch,
get weird.
Shake your ass. Shake your ass. Like,
it's fucking sick.
I think my first person seeing there was Mason Maynard, and oh my god, it was for the Take Me Tequila show. Oh my god, it was so sick. Like just seeing like I've listened to his music when I was first starting to get in the house, and I was like, okay. I'm thinking he's gonna play this one way. I'm thinking he's gonna go tech house all the way. And I'm like, he just went through so many different vibes, and that just kind of like opened up my way of thinking of how to play.
Right.
Like, because I'm like, yeah, I make this type of music, but that doesn't mean I play that way.
Right.
Like, and so it kind of made me think like, okay, fuck, like, am I doing it? Am I doing too much? Like, am I doing it wrong? And that kind of made me reevaluate the way I played.
Yeah.
Because it was nice to see like we can go on this journey. And still have a good time. I'm like, I can hand you fucking bangers back to back.
Right.
But this journey,
Yeah.
I'm like this journey is where it's at.
Yeah.
I'm like that the journey through, okay, yeah, this is house, but you thought you were gonna get tech house, bitch.
Yeah.
And we about to you still about to shake that ass to these hot house beats that you have never heard before.
Dude, I was at A-Craze over the weekend, and like,
How was that? Oh yeah, how was that?
It was cool.
Happy belated.
Thank you. No, it was sick. But like, dude, like, yeah, like tech house is like dying. Like people are getting bored. People are just there, like, nodding their heads.
Okay, mark it here, because I was just telling my fiance, I was like, I heard Dom Bresky play Minimal in his set at club, and I was telling her, I was like, Minimal's taking over. I'm fucking telling you right now.
Yeah.
And she's like, she's not ready for the Minimal movement.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it's coming, and she's like, no. I'm like, he played fucking Mad Villa feeling it, and I'm like, in a club full of people who, you know, at first I thought he was gonna go Disco Dom. I'm like, Disco Dom is sick. I was like,
Right.
I'd rather have him play that than Tech House.
Right.
I'm like, have you seen his club space at?
I haven't seen him at a club. I saw him at Audio, I think. The year after Chris Lake.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I think Chocolate Sushi was on that lineup also. Shout out to him.
Right. Dude, that's sick. I know. I was seeing him when I first met him. He played at Chris Lorenzo. Yeah, the Chris Lorenzo,
The block party?
Yeah, the Walker Royce.
Yeah.
Yeah, freaking. I was like, who the fuck is this? Because he was going off.
Yeah.
And I was like, I couldn't read his logo. And then so like after he got off the decks, I introduced myself, and I was like, dude, that was sick.
Yeah.
And this is like a couple months before I had decided to like make the leap to becoming a DJ.
Yeah.
And so I was like, dude, like, how the fuck did you? I'm like, how did you get booked here? I'm like, bro, because I had never heard of him at
Right.
the time, and like, I'm just like, how did you get booked here? And like, I was just so intrigued,
Right.
And he's just like, they just like the way I play, and I was like, I like the way you play, and so it was just cool, you know, like, and also because he's black, I was like, I had never seen at that time, you know, any black DJs.
Right.
You know, and I was like, that's so fucking sick.
Right.
I'm
No,
like,
yeah,
this motherfucker got a full afro. Like,
Dude,
you know, you
straight
see
up.
him like full afro up there representing.
Yeah.
I'm like, black and Asian, putting it down for the culture. I'm like, but it was just so cool to see someone of my color holding it down as a DJ representing house.
Yeah. No, it's fucking, it's so like, that's my thing. I've said it before where it's just like, just seeing someone do it once, then you can feel like you can do it.
Right.
You know, whether that's like an older sister going to college and you being like, oh, I can do it. There is a path, you know, or like having a coach, you know, or whatever.
Right. So someone paved. It's like,
You know.
seeing someone pave that way. It's like, okay, you know what? I think I can do it.
Right.
You know,
And it always helps if it's someone who looks like you. You
Exactly.
know? If it's someone who looks like you, then you're like-
representation is everything.
right. And like that's the thing. It's just like a lot of us, the only idols we have are the ones on TV type shit. You
Right,
know?
right.
But like with music, like sometimes you don't even know what these artists look like. And then next thing you know, you know like fucking 8 of their tracks, and you know that they're gonna play them, you know,
Right.
Or you're hoping that they play them, you know,
Right.
or a version of it. And then next thing you know, it's just like, oh shit, he's just like fucking European kid, you know, or like what the fuck? I thought you were like from like Florida or something.
Dude, and
you know?
me, you know, like when me, before I seen Mason, like probably like a couple months after listening to his music, I'm like, what does this motherfucker look like? Because I always love interviews. I always love knowing what the person looks like. I'm like, just in case I see you on the street, I'm like, hey, what's good with you?
Right.
Like, pick. I'm like, I love taking pictures with people. That's why I fucking keep my Polaroid. I'm like, matter of fact, I got to make sure I get one out of the studio before I leave.
Oh yeah.
And so it's just always so interesting to see like what someone looks like, and like just get that, like, okay, what have this person gone through, or try to get a mental picture.
Right.
Like,
that's like the whole point of this whole podcast is just like literally just like, you know, like really break down the person that is, you know, this name or this art, or like whatever it is. And yeah, that's like the whole point is just to kind of like humanize everyone, and like give them a platform to be seen and heard. You know?
I'm a jackass. Nice to meet you. I'm a jackass. I'm a goofball, and you know, like that's where the Gruvetron came from. I'm like, I'm corny as fuck, but I accept that, and I accept who I am. And
right.
I'm like, I hope you do too.
Right.
Like,
yeah. I think.
But at the same time, if you don't, kiss my ass.
I think, and like, dude, with that being said, like, I think with the acceptance of who you are, you know,
Right.
either is a light for someone, or it's like they hate it, you know,
Right,
Because it's just
right.
like, well, what the fuck? Like, who do you think you are? And it's just like, I just think who I am, you know.
I'm just
Like,
happy.
like,
I'm just
dude, I just know who I am. You
I'm
know?
just happy at being me. Like,
Yeah.
and I truly appreciate when I see people like that, you know, like, and those are the people that I latch on to. Like, your energy, like when we first met, like you pulled me like right before, like you were walking out the bathroom. You're like, Jimmy. You're like, I'm like,
Dude,
George.
like,
Like, I'm like, dude.
it's because like, dude, there's certain people who I've like met throughout the years, where I'm like, oh, I can immediately be myself, you
Right.
know, with you, and you were one of those people where like sometimes I was like, I don't know if we're just business friends or like what, or are we
Right.
like homies, you know,
Right.
Yeah, like that's why with you it's so easy and comfortable, and like we can just chat, you know,
Right.
like there's not a lot of people I can just like stand with at the club and like talk to, you know, like I'm socially
I know.
awkward,
I'm like,
you know,
dude.
and, like,
I'm like, remember when I'm like that? Just we were telling your girl about when we were fucking standing at Patrick Topping, just
that's
yelling.
the show that I was talking about
Yeah.
earlier. That's the show that I was talking about, where Alex opened for him.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Right.
At the
I
Midway.
didn't know he opened for Patrick that night.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I had came so late, like, cause we were rushing to get from SAC, and I was driving with Groovy Goddess and Vincent Salas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we were running late, and because we had to check into our hotel and some more shit, and so we finally got there like right before he came on, and I was like, "Fuck, dude, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry we're late." I'm like, I was trying to get here, but it just didn't work out.
Right.
And so when I seen you, I was like, dude, I'm like, it's just always good to see people and you can have a fucking conversation with. Like, most of these things I go to alone.
Yeah.
I'm like, so when I'm like, feel that good warm energy, and I'm like, yes, I'm gonna go hang out with my friends.
Yeah. No, that's literally what it is. It's like you get that like childlike feeling inside when you do see your friends,
Right.
That you don't see like on the reg,
right.
It's just like, that's why like going out on the weekends is like, it is so much fun because I don't see you guys all that often,
Right.
But it's also just like I want to see you guys, maybe let's go grab lunch, but
Right.
our schedules don't line up. So
Exactly.
like, the only time I can see you
is when we're shaking that ass on the dance floor.
You know what I mean? And it's just like,
And like, we gotta squeeze in these conversations, and sometimes it gets hard, having a full conversation. You had a good weekend when you come home and you're like, yeah, babe. Like where you were talking in the club, weren't you?
Yeah, but it's literally like my night friends, are like my check-in friends. It's just like, oh, like, dude, how are you doing? How's work? Like, blah blah blah. But we genuinely care, because like we see you on a week to week, not on on an everyday. So we're not living with it, And like, yeah, it's just like, those are like the people that you're like, oh, so like, how was that interview? Or like, blah, 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 did you get the job? Or like, which is like sick. Cause then it kind of like keeps you like, almost like, oh, okay, well,
familiar.
Yeah, exactly. And like, also it's just like, it gives you, like someone to like, if you have someone to check in with, like on a week to week basis or whatever, they allow, or you kind of allow them to like check you on it and be like, so, but you said you were gonna do that, like, when are you gonna drop that, when are you gonna do that? And like, a lot of the times it's like them trying to hype you up, and be like, but oh, okay, well, like, what about that thing, and like,
weren't you supposed to be doing that thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
And like, that's why like those friends are so important, and especially when you guys are both in like the industry that you guys are trying to make it in, because then you can just be like, oh, but like, okay, like if we like, for whatever reason, me and Matt didn't post like every other week, and like we're just kind of loosey goosey,
right?
Like, it would just be like, oh, well, like, what?
It's a loose podcast kind of thing.
But like, yeah, it's just like kind of like a way to like check in, but yeah, all right, so right now, I kind of, I know you obviously, but okay, I want to play a little game where I'm just gonna say a word, and then you just tell me a word that, like, the first word that comes in mind.
Bet.
All right, music.
Dance.
Love.
Relationship.
Power.
Excellence.
Damn, that's a good one. No, just because I only asked, because like, it's with music being dance. Is that because that's your favorite way of expressing yourself with music?
At first, it was like being able to understand myself, and like knowing how comfortable I can be with dancing. Like at first, like I said earlier, growing up, it was like, oh, it's taboo to dance as a man,
right?
Like, and mom, like dancing with my mom, and then not being able to dance in public, like, and then like now having house music, like, if you can't dance, you can still dance on that dance floor.
Right.
Like, and it's not about looking good. It's not about, like, I knew I can always dance, but it was just like, it's different.
Yeah.
Like, so I kind of feel that, like, self-expression, being able to, like, dance and not give a fuck, like, that's kind of like what a lot of people go out for, to be able to dance and let it all go.
Right.
Like, I think that's just one of my other favorite expressions besides music.
Right.
Music and art,
Yeah.
being able to dance and, like, going to go listen to some of your favorite artists and you're just, like, dancing for hours. Like, perfect example, like, I went to see Max Chapman at Audio. Free show. I'm thinking it's going to be packed to the teeth. It's dead in there.
Yeah.
On a Friday night. On a Saturday night. Friday or Saturday night. And I'm thinking, oh my God, it's going to be packed. Freaking literally nobody in there.
Yeah.
It's me, Groovy Goddess, and 3 of our other friends. And literally, I'm on drugs. And freaking, I knew, like, I had been listening to Max Chapman for a while, one of my other favorite minimal artists. And I was just like, dude, I hope he plays a song. And he's just, I see him, like, I go up there and he's just like, I don't even know what to play for you guys. And like that, I see him, like, I see him. I was like, oh, dude, you're so awesome. He's like, I don't even know what to play for you guys. I don't know what you guys want. And so I was like, oh, could you play this song? It's his song,
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, this. He's like, yeah, perfect. And at first I thought he was just shooting shit. He was like, whatever, like, because we as DJs would be like, yeah, whatever, just to get you away from the booth.
Right.
And I was like, okay, whatever. So I go back and the drugs start kicking in. And as on the walk back, so it's like a 2-second walk from where I was standing. And he brings in the song, and it just brings me to tears.
Yeah.
And I can admit, like, I do really love music, and that's what brings me to becoming a DJ.
Yeah.
Like, it just makes me happy. It makes other people happy, and that goes full circle back to what we were talking about earlier. The sound is just amazing.
Yeah.
And like, it touches you in different ways, and being able to express yourself, shit like that,
Yeah. And then you said, when I said love, you said relationship. And I know you are engaged. So is that why you said relationship? Or do you see that it's the relationships that you have with people?
It's more of the relationships I have with people. And like, I love everyone that I come in contact with.
Right.
Like, we haven't met before, but I appreciate you as a person.
Right.
Like, because, being, me being black and me being who I am, like, most people see you and are either afraid or are judging you by the color of your skin.
Right.
And I'm like, no, I appreciate you for being a person.
Right.
Like, I don't want you to think that I'm judging you
Yeah.
by the color of your skin, because it's about you as a person.
Right.
I'm like, now, if you're a dick, you're a dick. If you're a nice, like, I want, people are people,
Yeah, I feel that. No, I do that to a degree, where I always give like, if I'm meeting you, I give you the upper hand.
Right.
Like, I don't mind.
Benefit of the doubt kind of thing.
Yeah, I was just like, I'll like, if I'll pretend who you think you are, but then, like, once, like, you start, like, being, like, acting up a little bit, like being rude or being, like, whatever, I'm like, well, like, what are we doing? Like, what's going on?
I thought you were this way.
Yeah,
like, no,
like,
I'm like, for me, like, I will show you the same card that I want to be dealt.
Right.
Like, and that's just, like I said, me sharing the same energy that I want to be, that I want to receive, and that's why I want anyone around me to be having a good time.
Yeah.
And, or just have at least, you know, we might not have this moment forever, but we're gonna go. Let's enjoy it while we are together.
Yeah.
And like we go home. We could go home and stress. Like while we're together, let's try to make it a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I read this somewhere or if like someone smarter than me said this, but they were just like, that the best moment, the best moment is happening right now. Just being that, like, you know, you can make it however you want to experience it. And a lot of the times, me personally, I tend to only have, or I mainly have those moments when I'm with homies, you know, and sharing experiences. Versus just, you know, like I have like my own victories on my own shit, you know, like, you know, whether it's getting a promotion or whatever it is, those are my victories, but it's not the same if I can't share it with others, you know. It's like, I got this promotion, now I got a raise, now where are we going, you know? Like,
let's share it with the gang.
And it's just like shit like that. And then when I said power, you said excellence. And I kind of like, I like that answer actually. What, like, in how would you explain yourself with that answer?
And if shit, I'm not excellence. I'm imperfect. But you know, like, I strive for excellence, and that's what we all strive for. But I'm happy with being imperfect because I know that I still have something to gain. Right.
I mean, that's also could be your power. You know?
And it's about, you know, the eye of the beholder, and I appreciate all my weaknesses and want to turn them into strengths, kind of thing.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's cool because, like, I feel like being able to, like, understand your weaknesses will always make you a stronger person.
Right.
But it's the identifying and then working on it.
Exactly.
You can identify all your problems, like,
but if you ain't doing shit about it,
like, I can tell you why
I
can tell you why I'm depressed. I can tell you why I'm anxious. I can, you know, but like, if I'm not working on it, you know, if I'm not fucking, you know, making sure I go on a walk every once in a while, you know, or like get some exercise in, then yeah, of course.
What am I doing?
You know, like I can't blame anyone but myself for not trying.
And I feel that, you know, like I think with myself, you know, like that comes back around to like making music, you know, like I tell myself, okay, you got to do this, you got to do that. And it's either I have the time or I don't. And I beat myself up about not making the time, or I'm like, okay, you should have did that. And I'm like, okay, you know what? It's okay. Let's just recuperate and let's do better the next day. Yeah. I'm like, so fuck it. You know, we fuck up, but the more we continue to stress ourselves out about the past and we'll continuously fuck ourselves over.
Yeah. So. No, I completely agree with that. And yeah, that's I mean, why, like, I go to therapy and everything is just, once again, that's a homie, not really, but like someone that I get to check in with and be like someone who holds me accountable. Right.
For your bullshit. Right.
Yeah. And
or
just be like, well,
just whatever.
Yeah. And just be like, well, Danny, remember, you know, remember 16 weeks ago when you said blah, blah, blah. And you're like, all right, you got me there.
You got me there.
Points were made.
Is that has it been that long?
Yeah. But it's just like, it's cool. It's cool to, like, I mean, to self-check also, you know, and make sure they're just like, yeah, but like if you're not feeling inspired, just like allowing yourself to not be inspired in order to find it, you know, right? Because whenever I lose my phone, it's when I like stop looking for it and be like, well, whatever, I'll just go. And then next thing I'm like, oh, it's right here, you know, or like some shit like that, you know, or just like,
bro, you got to get you an Apple Watch, like, watch.
Damn. Yeah, bro. But just like, you know, just shit like that, where it's just like, oh fuck, you know.
But yeah, no, I totally feel it. You know, like it's about, you know, taking that time to just be patient. Like for right now, like I'm just enjoying me, and the time I can get to come to shows, the time I can get to do DJ things and make music, then I'm gonna put that time that I can get. Yeah. You know, like in this next year, I'm gonna be getting married. I got hella shit coming up.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I got a bachelor,
gonna be a busy person.
busy boy.
Yeah,
But you know, like I still want to make time to be able to come see you guys. Still
Right.
be able to make time to touch bases with everybody.
Yeah.
I'm touching all my corners. All right, I love you guys. All right, I'm out.
but no, yeah, I mean, especially with like, I mean, yeah, just like a major step and milestone in life, you know, like getting married
Right.
and everything. Yeah, like if people don't understand, like if they don't see you, you know,
Right,
then
right.
like okay, then you don't really have the best
Bitch,
interest.
the whole
Yeah.
first half of the year, I'm gonna be busy. But
Yeah.
everything else,
We in there, yeah.
we in there.
Yeah. But hell yeah, man. Well, I mean, just to kind of wrap everything up, do you want to just kind of give everyone your socials where they can find you, any events that you have coming up, the mix series and everything?
Yes. You can follow me on Jimmy Gruvetron, Jimii. That's 2 I's. Gruvetron, Gruvetron. And that's pretty much on everything. That's on everything. That's on everything. There might be a DJ Jimmy Gruvetron, but search up Jimmy Gruvetron and you'll find me. And the next 2 mixes I have lined up is going to be Akisano from Atlanta and Irio Indra from Indonesia. 2 great mixes. We got Akisano with more of a deep house mix. That shit is fire. When I'm like, he sent me like 3 mixes, and I'm like, bro, why are you making me pick? I'm like, that's what's so cool too. You know, like getting all these mixes is just people having a good time and really expressing themselves and just really loving it. The next one is Irio Indra, and that's coming out in December too. Yes.
Cool.
I'm like, yeah.
Cool. And yeah.
No gigs yet. Book me, bitch. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no,
Please.
but seriously,
Seriously, I want to come have fun.
Amazing. Thank you everyone for listening to another episode. And before we wrap up, shout out to our sponsor, Liquid Death.
It's delicious.
They hydrate us throughout the entire pod. And yeah, thank you guys. You guys can get them at www.liquiddeath.com and or your local convenience store, Safeway, Whole Foods, your mom's house. I don't care. But yeah, thank you guys and peace.
Peace.
Bye.